Asking the question, what is the best car in Rocket League, is a bit like asking what the best car is in real life. Obviously, some brands are just better than others. But for the most part, they're all just different because they're made with different people in mind. The fastest car may not have the best handling or ride the smoothest, but who really cares about that? Or it may be the fastest from 0 to 60, but then get blown away after that point. The better question is this: what is the best car for me? Maybe you're like me and you love Rocket League so much that you'll buy a piece of garbage like this just because it's called a freestyle. This video is for two types of people. The first type of person is the one who genuinely wants to know which car would be the best for them. You saw this video and you were like, hell yeah. Honestly, I don't understand you, but I do love you. And two, those of you who've used one car basically for your entire Rocket League career. Those of you who cringe when you see any car that isn't the Octane, Dominus, or Batmobile. Honestly, I'm not really sure why you clicked on this video, but whatever. We're going to be looking at how your car choice relates to ground game, air game, and then last we're going to talk about the overall look and feel of the cars. There are two main ways to dribble in Rocket League. You can carry the ball on top of your car, or you can bounce dribble. Really, a well-rounded player should know how to do both of these things, and use them accordingly, but we're not all that well-rounded, and that would defeat the point I'm making. The hitboxes on each car are similar enough to be able to do all of these things with any of the cars, so remember that as I go through this. But certain cars are definitely better for certain skills. So what type of player are you? Would you rather bounce dribble and take power shots, or do you prefer to carry the ball and try to flick it over your opponent? If you prefer carrying and flicking, then I recommend using either the Batmobile, the Twin Mill, the Dominus, or the Breakout. And I would also include in there the Dominus GT and the Ice Charger. These cars are all incredibly long, wide, and short. This not only makes it easy to throw the ball, it's also better for getting the ball on top of your car. If you can't decide between these cars, wait till section 3 where I talk about the overall look and feel. If you're the type of person who prefers to bounce dribble and hit power shots, you're going to have a much easier time with taller cars. I definitely recommend trying the Octane, the Marauder, the Takumi, or the Roadhog. There are other cars with similar hitboxes that you can definitely go and try out. I personally just prefer cars that look more like conventional cars, and not airplanes or spaceships or submarines. The next thing to consider is how these cars function in the air. I really have no reason to believe that the cars boost or fly any differently. So again, we're looking at the overall size of your cars and how that relates to hitting the ball in the air. The general trend is that cars with shorter hitboxes are longer and wider, while cars with taller hitboxes are generally not as long or wide. In my opinion, the height of the hitbox isn't really as important for aerial game as the width and length. In fact, I would argue that a thinner car could potentially have more precision on aerial shots because the car actually looks more like its hitbox. Regardless, aerial game is more of a feel thing anyways, so once you're used to your car, the hitbox probably won't really matter all that much. The last part of this video is probably the most important. The look of the car is really that thing that makes you spend all of your hard-earned cash on these cool little virtual box things. You want a car that looks good, especially from behind. Seriously, in Rocket League, the front really doesn't matter. It's all about the rear. Part of this may just be that you're used to the car you've been using, and like every part of Rocket League, it just takes time to get used to new things. The feel of the car is actually a bit more tangible than some of the things we've talked about. Here's one example. Let's say you're considering using the Batmobile. And I definitely think everyone should go and try the Batmobile, just because of how unique it is. It's really unlike any other car in the game. But one thing to consider with the Batmobile is the tilt of its hitbox. Its hitbox is one of the least tilted in the game. It truly is a pancake, and that's why it feels like a pancake. Though I like using it sometimes, most of the times I don't want to feel like I'm driving a pancake. But maybe you like pancakes, I don't know. Let's look at the other flat cars I recommended. If you haven't tried the Dominus, I really don't know what's wrong with you. In my opinion, it is the best DLC car that they've ever put out. Like the Batmobile, it just has a really unique feel, but I honestly just love that classic muscle car look. Okay, out of all the taller cars, the Octane is obviously the best in terms of looks and feel. There's really no better car for ground game. The other car that I recommend trying is the Roadhog or the Roadhog XL. It honestly feels really good, both in the air and on the ground, and people just really don't use this car for some reason. And come on, this car has to fit with some of your guys' personalities. I do also like the Marauder, but it kind of feels a little bit more like a military car and doesn't look like a conventional car, but that's really just my preference. It has basically the same hitbox as the Octane. I really don't see any good reason why 90% of players still use the Octane, except that it's just what most pros use, and it looks really cool. It's also the first car that you unlock, so a lot of people just started with it. I should honestly probably just stop because I love my red Octane more than just about anything in the world, and I'll probably keep using it. Regardless, if you're in a rut, you should just go try a different car. Try one of those random cars that you've never thought about using. And stop believing this notion that there are just a few good cars and all of these other cars are just completely broken. None of the cars are broken. They're all just different, so you should probably try all of them. Alright, that's it for this video. Let us know down below which car you prefer, and until next time, peace out.